Welcome to Parents Make a Difference, and I'm your host, Josie PV. Today, we have with us Chantal Gagne, who is the Senior Vice President of Life and Health Insurance Division of Desjardins, which is one of the top insurance companies in Canada. And I love learning from people who achieve and getting advice and strategies for them. And that's who we have today. I would love for you to hear what Desjardins says about her. Let me read this. Desjardins has written that Chantal is a woman of action and an ambitious vision. She never hesitates to think outside the box, to help her teams excel and reach new heights. She has paved the way for the teams to maximize their potential. I'm excited to learn from her today to help us parents realize and maximize our potential so that we can help maximize the potential of our children. Welcome, Chantal, to Parents Make a Difference.
Thank you, Josie, so much for having me today.
I had the opportunity to meet you at a conference at Desjardins, and when I saw you, I thought, wow, it's wonderful to see women in influential roles in business, and very young too. I Wonderful, and I shared a little bit of that with you because I was impressed and I was so happy to see. I want to see more of that. So, if you can share maybe a little bit of your journey to this position at
Sure.
Desjardins.
Yeah, sure, Josie. So very happy to have the opportunity to speak with all of you today about my background, about what I did in the last year. I'm an actuary by training. So I did my university degree in Quebec as an actuary, and I started my career at Desjardins. So I did my internship at Desjardins, and I've been at Desjardins for 17 years now. And one thing that I'm very privileged about my background is the fact that I had the opportunity to move to many different job positions along the way. So I started as an actuary, and very soon in my career, I accepted to become a manager and manage teams. It was a property rate making at the time, so I was in PNC insurance. And then from there, I had many people along the way who offered me opportunities, which I most of the time I should say maybe always accepted because I trusted those people. So I went out from the actuarial department and started to work on the writing teams. And then I had the chance to participate in a large modernization project. I did marketing strategy. I managed large claim operational teams. And 4 years ago, they asked me if I wanted to switch from PNC to life insurance and become a VP. And you know what? At the time, I had a 1-year-old daughter. So it was a big decision to make to start, in a new division with having to build back all my contact networks and learn a new industry and learn to be a VP at the same time, which is not the same level I had when I was in PNC division. So I accepted that challenge and I had a lot of fun in putting myself outside of my comfort zone and continue to grow. And now, 1 year ago, I accepted the position of the head of all life and health. So it includes both, individual insurance, group retirement savings, independent networks management. So I manage today a team of about 4,000 people in three different lines of business, and that's where I am right now, Josie, in my journey.
Wow. So, were you fearful of going to the next level? Were you ever having that sense of fear? And what did you do if you did?
I don't have a lot of fears, so that's maybe something that characterizes me. Uh, I always have the mindset, Josie, about if someone can do it, why it couldn't be me. So I always had that high self-confidence. So and I try to be humble when I say that, because most of the women, normally we don't say we're confident, but I am confident. I know I'm able to achieve great things, and I am humble when I speak to people, but in my heart and my mind, I know I can achieve great things. So I didn't have a lot of fear, but there was one job that maybe scared me, and it was probably like 10 years ago, and it's when I accepted to be moving out from the actuarial department. The first time you do that first big move of putting yourself outside of your comfort zone, in my personal experience, it was the hardest to make, because I studied so hard to become an actuary. And at the time, I've been an actuary maybe for 4 years and a half. And I thought myself, oh my God, I won't be an actuary anymore. And that was my dream, to be an actuary. And that was what I studied for. So that first move, when it was proposed to me, I said no about 6 times. And many people came to see me and say, Chantal, it's good for you. It's good for your development. It's good for that. And at some point, one person come and see me saying, you know what? You don't have to accept, but the things you can get in that new position, you will need to develop it at some point in your career if you want to progress. So why not right now? And it relieved me a bit of pressure on my decision, knowing, okay, if it's not that one, it can be something else later. But okay, I think this one is good. So I decided to jump in. So this was the biggest move. I cried a lot at the time. I was wondering, oh my God, what's gonna happen? But all the other moves after, even if they were always bigger in terms of new responsibility, never scared me again. Never
Oh,
scared me again.
they must have seen something great in you to really come 6 times or many times to encourage you to join that next uh, that next position. What do you think they saw in you? It's great that they saw something.
Yeah, and that's one person that saw something, and that's funny. That person is in my teams today. I'm still working with her, but in a different position, and she really wanted to work with me. Sometimes I have personally a hard time to understand what exactly makes the fact that I have such a good journey in Desjardins. But I'm simple. I love people. I'm action oriented, and I make things happen. So I really think it's what they see. The fact that I love my team, I love people, I make things happen, but in happiness, in collaboration, and this is what served me at that time, and that's what served me the 15 years after as well.
Wonderful. I I'm hearing that you have that confidence. Like, you know what, if someone else can do it, so can I. And I love that. And I tell that to my kids actually. I say, if someone else can do it, you can do it. I say that to myself too. So I have a little bit of that too. We were building a house and I didn't know what I was doing. But I said to my husband, Vince, I says, well, honey, if other people can do it, we can do it. Not knowing what
Yeah,
we're doing. But
and you know what? I always say that I have a 6-year-old daughter now. Her name is Juliet. And I always say to Juliet, Juliet, you can achieve anything you want in life. All your dreams, you can achieve them if you really want hard. So I say the same to my daughter too, Josie, because I really do feel that having that mindset of you can achieve great things, this is the base of everything. You need to trust yourself. You need to be confident about yourself. And unfortunately, when my current boss, the first time we had a one-on-one together, and he asked me, how do you feel? I said, well, if someone can do it, I can do it too. And said, oh, wow, that's very a man mentality, that you have. It's unfrequent that women are able to say out loud that they believe in themselves. And honestly, Josie, I feel that we are allowed to believe in ourselves, and we're allowed to say it and live it too. So just want to share that.
I love that. I love that. And it's really having that growth mindset. If I don't know how to do it yet, I can figure it out. I can learn. If I try one way and it doesn't work, I try another, right? Until I
Exactly.
figure it out. Did your parents influence you at all in this kind of thinking, or you got it somewhere else? Like,
My parents and we are very, very close together. We're a very close family. I probably still today see my parents maybe 5 times a week.
Okay.
And I speak to them 3 times a day. And my parents have always been very, very supportive. I feel, that they dedicated most of their life for their children so they can get the best of their lives. So, I was born in a suburbs or countries, 3 hours from the city here in Quebec. That's a small village of 1,000 people. There's almost nothing you can do there. So there's not great schools. There are not sports centers that are very nice too. And what my parents did when I reached the age of 12, they decided to move with me in Quebec so I can get better scholarship and I can also be doing, half-time sports, half-time studying. And all of the time I did my studies, my dad, it was very important for him that I can really focus all my attention on my school and on my sport. So he didn't want me to work during school time. And he really, they did everything so I can, do the maximum of my potential in sport and the maximum of my potential in scholarship as well. So I will always be grateful and recognize all their support. And still today, Josie, they're so important in my life because, many people believe I'm a career person because I'm 39 and I have a big job. But I personally describe myself as a family person.
Beautiful.
So the thing that is most important in my life is my family. It's my daughter, it's my parents, and my parents, they are very important in our family balance. With the responsibilities I have, and my husband has a similar job than me, sometimes we need support in order for, let's say, take Juliet at the daycare and make sure she's with family when she's with my parents. They help me with the chores at the house, with the cleaning, with everything. So they are so much in our lives. So still today, I'm 39, and my parents play definitely a big role in me being able to have that super work-life balance with the job I have, and having a nice time with my daughter too.
Oh, that's wonderful because family unity is so important and
Yeah.
working together. And I too, I needed a lot of support. Having 5 kids, I had a lot of
Oh
support.
my God. Okay.
5 boys, yes. And I needed the support. I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. Um, and my husband in the insurance field, he was away a
Yeah,
lot in appointments. So family's been very important, and I love the fact that you are able to achieve such great influence to help others with such support from a lot of support from family. Because really, what is it teaching you? That family is important, and I'm sure you'll do the same for your daughter,
and you
right?
know what, Josie, that's a very good point because I feel so privileged to have so much support from my parents since I was born and still today at 39. And I always, this is why I describe me as a family person. So, yes, I can be a businesswoman and have big responsibility and really be able to be happy of myself and what I do. And at the same time, it's very, very important to me to make sure I give to my daughter as much as my parents gave me. So sometimes it's a challenge with my level of responsibilities, but I really need to organize and make choices that are coherent with those values I have that are family. So you know what, when I travel for work, I do many crazy things to make sure I'm not out of home more than one night, so I can be the most of the time at home. So sometimes I wake up at 3 in the morning to take the plane and be back the same night, but to always limit the time that I'm out of home because the evenings and the weekends are so precious. Sometimes I have longer time that I need to be traveling for work. The example is the place where we met with Vince at the event. And to me, if I leave for 5 days because they want me to be present at that event, I need to have the right to bring my daughter. Otherwise, I don't go. So at this, when you're able to know what you want and to be clear with your boss when you accept a job about what is your condition
Hmm.
and that is comfortable with it, that's key. That's key. When I met Denis 4 years ago when I became VP, I said, Denis, if you want somebody that is going to be working 75 hours and be out of home 3 days a week because is traveling, well, that's not the job for me. And he said, you know, Chantal, having 100% of Chantal is better for me than having 100% 50 of somebody else. So I know you're bright enough to take the right decision, that do everything you really need to do your job and keep your family balanced. And that's how we signed that, you know, that contract, and that I decided to move. But I think that being clear on those conditions is key, because after that, you know, it's I don't feel bad of not being out of home every night for work, because that was the deal when I accepted the job. So I feel good about it. I feel good about being at every gymnastic class of my girl and watching her and spending time with her. So yeah, so I try to I put my limits on my work to be able to give as at my daughter as much as my parents gave me.
Well, that's wonderful, because even for parents that are listening, whether they have a high influential job like yourself, or it's a different type of job that I've heard people say, I'm just so exhausted and I don't have that much time to spend with my kids. But doing it with intention, right? I heard even 10 minutes a day spending with your child, talking about what they want to talk about, or doing what they want to do. And as, a little one, if they want to play with dolls or read a certain book. But if you can invest, make it with intention every day or every other day, just focus on spending that time, really builds the relationship. Now, if you can do it, all of us can do it. But
You
I
know
think,
what, Josie? The other day I was having the reflection, because I told you Juliette is doing gymnastics and she's so good. You know, that's I'm so proud when I go and watch her doing her gymnastic class. She's beautiful, she's motivated, she's strong, and I love it. That's, you know, that's my moment, you know, being able to see her. And every Sunday she has a 3 hours training, and I'm, you know, out of 100 girls, I'm the only one staying and watching at her for 3 hours. And I'm telling myself, I'm probably one of the mom here with the biggest job and responsibilities, but it doesn't prevent me of being sitting here every Sunday, 3 hours, watching my daughter, seeing her doing me thumbs up and being proud of her, and that we share that moment together. So it's all a matter of choice. I could have decided, oh well, I will use that 3 hours because I need to do the groceries and I need to do that, but well, I put it somewhere else in the agenda. And you know, being able to organize ourselves is key to be able to, you know, to be pérenniser, sorry, I just have the French word, but to be able to hold that pace a long time. You know, and so to me, I have, you know, three things that are very important to my life. I should say four, but I'll start at least with three. So quality time with my daughter, so maybe quality time with my family. It includes my husband, it includes my parents. Being 100% present when I'm at work and giving the best of what I can. And what I a bit forgot in the last couple of years that I'm bringing back right now is spending time for me. Because, you know, when you're a mom, all that mental weight is so high. You need to be a, you know, a super mom, a super employee, a super cooker, a super fit person, a super this. It becomes so much things to do that sometimes when you have a young child, you lose a bit the control of thinking about you. So since a couple of months now, I told myself I need at least to be able to take 30 minutes per day for me every morning, to train myself, to have a better health, to feel better, to feel prettier, you know, to so so you need to be able to find. And I really found the spot when I drop Juliette at the bus the morning at 7:20. I take 30 minutes there, take a shower, and I book my agenda just starting 8:30 now. Before, you know, the meetings were starting at 7:30, but it's the same concept. When you don't put your limits, you get, you know, swamped in all of this. So I decided to put some limits and privilege 30 minutes per day for myself. And I think I'm a very more well-balanced person now, not just spending time at work, not just spending time for the family, but spending time for myself too. And I think it's important for everybody, all women's, but everybody in general.
I agree. I agree. I have to work on that sometimes myself. But it's like on the airplane, they say put the oxygen on yourself before you put it on your child. And I hope the parents listening, you need to take care of yourself. And so, even if it's just a half an hour or something for you, if it's reading, if it's exercising, and I find that exercise, it helps with stress. They say it helps. I went through cancer, so they said, it helps me to stay in remission. Um, it was like every angle. It helps you with your heart. It helps. So it's like exercise. If we can all exercise a little bit to stay healthier, is important. But do something that's good for you. And I love that you're prioritizing to do that. We all have 24 hours in a day,
Yeah.
right? But we have a choice on how to use that. And yes, so parents out there, I hope you're doing what Chantal is doing and what I'm working on doing too. Spend a little bit of time for you so you're better for your kids, right? Yes. So now you've shared some great things. Now, in order for parents out there that want to um, help to motivate their kids, I mean, how did you motivate yourself? Was that something that came natural, or do you have any strategies on how to motivate yourself?
How I motivate myself?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not something you can really make. Motivation is something that you have inside you, and but I think there are some contexts that help people to be more on a positive mindset and motivated. And the first thing, I think I mentioned it a bit earlier, but first, it's finding something that you love. So it's true for work, it's true for sport, it's true for, I hate biking. So if I tell myself, oh, I'm going to train and I'm going to do bike 30 minutes every morning, it won't work. I don't like it. I know I don't like it. I love dance, I love stuff like that. So find and try things to be clear on what you love. And when you do something you love, training or your work, try different position. And some people like management, some people prefer to be an expert in a field. And but try things. Nothing's cannot, you cannot do a move and say, oh my god, I will never be able to go back to this. I liked it so much. Everything you can change, you can try and mistake. So try things, and when you find the thing you love, motivation will come by itself. But sometimes, also being clear on what you want to achieve, putting your limits is very important. But because even if you love your work, if it takes 70 hours of your week, maybe motivation will drop because it will be compromising the rest, all the family portion or your personal time. So finding the balance to me is the key to be at a sustainable pace where I'm motivated, I'm productive. And I told that I started to train because I felt, well, when I don't train, I have less energy. When you have less energy, motivation is tougher. And when you train, you have more energy, you sleep better too, you sleep better too, and it helps. So that's what I would answer, Josie. So having that balance, finding stuff that you love and invest into it, that would be my two advice.
Wonderful. In helping the the girls of today to become our future leaders, what advice would you give to parents to help them to believe in themselves, to have that self confidence and that growth mindset?
Yeah, you know what? I often give some conference about my background and the fact that I'm a woman in finance or a woman in leadership, and something I need to be honest with you. Personally, I never felt disadvantaged by being a woman. To me, it never changed a thing. I never perceived the difference. Oh, I'm a woman. Will I be disadvantaged? Or all that stuff. Sometimes I had that feeling, but more about being so young in the position I had. Oh, I'm being so young. Will the people think I'm credible for that role? So I had those questions, but not about being a woman. So what advice for the girls being motivated? I think showing them role models of people that had success. We have so many great women that can be used as role model in all areas. I think we should expose our young girls to this, and And it's not about, I would not say a lot about, oh, you're a woman but you're able to do that anyway. It's like you can do it, everything you want. You can do everything you want, and not having that, that question about you're a female, and just you're strong, you can do anything you want. And so they are, they are growing, being just confident.
Yes, and I mean this is for men and women, really, right? Because I
Yeah.
agree with you so much with that. When we were building our house, I was doing some of the contracting out, and they had said, "I want to speak to your husband." I says, "Well, he sent me," as I thought, "What's the difference, man,
Yeah.
female, really, right?" And so I love that. Really, perhaps that's what your parents helped you see. I'm not sure. They didn't put any limits on you. You weren't surrounded by. So I'm hoping that parents out there don't put limits on your kids. Or if there is anything that shows that there's limits, then always show the opposite, the examples, like you said, examples of people who are achieving and they don't allow limits to stop them, right? Or
Yeah.
what people's limits are, because that's what it is, people's limits.
Yes, you're right.
And so we want to raise the level of thinking for men and
Def-
women, for the future men and women, and to work together and to value each other because um, that's what's important, to work together. And
Yeah, I think women and men have different strengths, and it's by working together that we make the most complete team. So I love working with women's. I love working with men's too, and we have different strengths, and that's perfect because imagine a world where just women are leading. I don't think it's a good thing either. We need a good balance of both, so both women's and men's can achieve great things.
now, in order to be leading in the position that you're at, communication must be very important because you have to help build teams. And so, any advice on, from what you've learned in your field, how we can be better communicators at home with our kids, with our spouses, our family members?
Yeah, I think one of the key in communication is always remain authentic. Authenticity is the heart of everything. This is what brings confidence. This is what brings people wanting to get to know you and all that stuff. So, yes, communication is very, very important. And also, and it's maybe less related to kids, but more in my career. I think one thing that is very important is being able to provide, very simple messages so that people, remember something about what you're saying. So the ability to simplify the messages to me is a key component of communication that can really help having greater impact as well. And always speak with our heart.
Hmm. Wonderful. Thank you. You've got a lot of things that I think the parents today can um, reflect on and perhaps use some of those strategies in their own lives. I hope that the parents listening out there uh, invest the time in your kids because if Chantal can, with such a busy life, and makes it a priority, kids feel valued when they know that you're spending time with them, even if it's just that 10 minutes, but giving them your full attention, not on your phone, um, just giving them full attention and having them share and having them do something that they enjoy. And you being there watching your daughter gives her, like, mom is watching, she's feeling good, gives her
Hmm.
confidence and creates that relationship. Sometimes people don't have strong relationships because they're not investing time in each other. So I love that you do that, Chantal. And I love that the fact that you say someone else can do it, I can do it. Right?
You will remember that, Josie?
I'll remember that. And we could tell our kids that too, right? If someone else can do it, you can do it too,
Of
right? It
course.
is.
Of
It's
course.
it's a great thought to help us open our minds with a growth mindset. Okay, now I got to figure out how. So let's see. Maybe I can try this. I can try. And that's what we want to see is people having growth mindsets. Our children having growth mindsets. If there's a problem, well, now I'm going to have to figure out a plan here. Okay, let me try this and maybe that and so forth. So I love that you said that. That is wonderful. That is I know that great things, people are saying wonderful things about you in this position, and you're making a difference and influencing a lot of lives. And I think we all want to do a little bit of that, even if it's just in our home, influencing the lives of the children in our home, the families around us. And so I thank you so much, Chantal, for joining us and for sharing some of your wisdoms, some of your journey. I just want the parents out there to know, parents, you make a difference. Hope you subscribe to Parents Make a Difference to hear wonderful stories like Chantal. Thank you, Chantal. Thank you, parents. Hope to see you at the next podcast.